What's up, everybody? Welcome to Otaku Time Machine, a show that takes you through the anime archives of yesteryears. I am your Captain Frankfurter, and with me, as always, is my skipper, Magically Average. How you doing, buddy?
Mm, I made a lot of oopsies.
Yes, this may or may not be the second time or third time we've recorded that intro, but
Eh.
it's fine. Today, we are in the year 2017, and we are going to be talking about the entirety of Little Witch Academia. Initially, we were like, do we do one season or do we do two? And it's not really 1 to 2 seasons, it's just kind of one show melted into two cores. So we decided to do the whole 25 episodes, and we are here going to kick it off with just basic, like, background information, just main characters, minor plot of what it's about, and then just kind of going into our overview of the, our initial thoughts. So, without any spoilers, let's get on with it. We've got our initial crew of three little witches, which we have Atsuko, or as they call her in the show, Ako, Lotte, and Susie. And they all are very different individuals, but also kind of wonderful characters. Ako is a girl who comes from a non magical background, but after seeing a magic show as a child, like a 6-year-old, she's like, yes, I want to be a witch when I grow up. And in high school, she decides she's going to go to Luna Nova, the witch school in her neighborhood or nearby. So, on her way to Luna Nova, she meets Lotte, who is just kind of this little nerdy, adorable witch who is a spirit fair, basically can talk to spirits. And then they also meet Susie, who is just kind of like this typical, like, if there were no laws regarding, witchcraft, she would be the evil witch doing human experiments, with, like, human testing with mushrooms. She loves mushrooms, she's kind of like the dark witch, but she's also weirdly the comic relief and a wonderfully written character. But kind of the whole major plot of this series is this girl who doesn't have a magical bone in her body, it seems, goes to Luna Nova, a school for young girls who, or a high school for girls who want to learn more about witchcraft and become a witch. And that's kind of just like the plot. That is like the very bare bones overview of what this series is. Um, as a whole, I've been talking for a little bit. I'm just going to talk a little bit more. As a whole, I really enjoyed the series. I thought it was really just kind of vibrant, fun, and looking at like the characters in the show, they really had a huge personality that felt real. It didn't feel over the top. It didn't feel like it wasn't doing as much as it could have. It felt very well done. I really enjoyed the character writing in this. I did enjoy the world building that they had in this, despite a few over the top things near the end. And yeah, just as an overall adventure journey, I did thoroughly enjoy this series. To you, good sir, what did you think?
It was fun.
Fuck you.
I,
3 words. Is
yeah,
any more? It was fun?
I mean,
Nothing?
I got it's it's the tale of two halves. The first
That's
half
fair.
was nice and methodical, and it was great and lovely, and the second half felt like I was traveling at light speed through different dimensions and could taste color. So it's
Fair enough.
yeah, but it was fun nonetheless. I certainly feel like it fell into the classic trap of we really anticipated doing this over X amount of seasons, but they only told us two. So here we are. It's not
Yeah, they
it's
front loaded the front, like, the first part of just, like, with, "Here's the world, here's the characters, get to know a little bit about them," and then the second half is like, "Let's just put them on a jet propeller and just fucking go ham."
the second half was clearly like we wanted to spend more time with the story. So it's going to feel like we're just introducing everything to you now, and we kind of are. But bear with us because we want to prove to you that there was a purpose to everything that you had watched in the first half. And then the payoff is like, okay, I can handle it, I guess. Maybe not the giant, missile and rocket ship, but we'll get to that eventually. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we can go into kinda, like, more spoilers now, so if you've not watched it and any of what we've said, piques your interest, by all means, go watch it. It is all on Netflix, both, subbed and dubbed. I will say I watched the dubbed version. I thought that the dubbed version was very well done. I think each voice actress did a wonderful job at bringing their character to life and sounded within like it sounded very well. Like they matched that character.
Yeah.
So I
Uh,
really thoroughly enjoyed the dub.
100% agree. Only criticism, and it's a big criticism, massive criticism. Whoever was the sound designer, fuck you. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but it felt they clearly liked the music a lot and didn't care about the dialogue as much. There were scenes where I was doing like the old person like, "Huh? What?
What
What?
did you say, Sonny?
Speak up." And then you just hear fucking violins and like cellos come in like and it's like all whimsical and stuff and you're just like, "I'm trying to hear what they're talking about because I feel like it's somewhat important." Then here, oh
Yeah.
shocker, here comes the brass, blah, 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 and you're like, oh my god, they just quiet down just a tiny bit. It felt like they had a band in their room or like in the space that they were at in constantly, like a giant orchestra was following them everywhere. Just like quiet down, please, for like 2 seconds.
To be fair though, I did really enjoy the music. The music
No, it's not a dig
was
on the
really
soundtrack, right? Like
that's true.
if I said, "Oh, the soundtrack was ass," I would have blamed the music producer. Or if like the voice acting was terrible, I would have blamed the director to some degree. But no, it was purely just the sound designer, the person mixing everything. Please take this as a lesson and improve cuz by god, I could not hear at times just
Yeah.
instruments blowing out my eardrums constantly because I'm like my TV can only go up so high and I can't mute the background noise. I just want to hear what they're saying. I will say though, I made a comment to you early on. There were a couple of episodes of the first part of the show where it did feel like one voice actor was like very close to their mic and was speaking clearly, and the other voice actor was two doors down speaking into the same mic. So
Yeah.
I also kind of blame sound design and mixing as well. But that's like,
It could have been better.
yeah,
That's for sure. But yeah, no, I agree with those criticisms as well. And there's some plot criticisms we both have, I
some.
feel like. Some more than others. But yeah, so without further ado, we're gonna get into spoiler territory here. So if you've not watched it again, go watch it. It's on Netflix. So let's get into spoilers. Yeah, you mentioned a rocket ship, and what the fuck? Like
Eh. Well,
it's
let's.
typical Trigger in the sense that Trigger so if you don't know, Studio Trigger did this. They were early before they were Trigger, they did Gurren Lagann, which also
Gynax
jumped
is, yeah,
yeah, there was Gynax. They jumped like 50 different sharks at the very end, but it was still a lovable series.
Kill a
They did
Kill.
Darling in the yeah, Kill la Kill, Darling in the Franks, all these other shows that people do really, really enjoy, myself included, which jump a fuck ton of sharks just at the last like episode or three for
In
whatever reason.
in fairness, though, Darling in the Franks and Kill a Kill, to my knowledge, both have like source material with them. If I'm not mistaken, Kill a Kill's source material still came
No,
out.
they're originals.
Oh, they are. They're both originals. So the source
They're
material came out after.
correct. Yeah, the manga came out
Interessante.
after for both Kill la Kill and for
No,
Darling in the
that makes
Franxx.
more sense then. So
Yeah,
realistically, Delicious in
they're
Dungeon
both
is the
original.
only one that's been able to tame them because at least Delicious in Dungeon has source material.
Yeah, I'm looking through the list of shows that they've done and I'm like, what
They're doing
of
Panty
all of
Panty and
these
Stocking season 2 with
they've yeah,
Garter
so they
Belt.
did Kill la Kill when supernatural battles become commonplace, which I think that one yeah, that one had a light novel before they started the light novel and in manga before they started. But Space Patrol Luluko, I have no idea, never heard of it. But it looks like that is also an original Kisniver, which is an original. I enjoyed
Mhm.
that one. Little Witch Academia, which is an original. Darling in the Franks, which is an original. SSSS Gridman, which is also original. Like everything that Trigger usually does is an original, with the exceptions of apparently when supernatural battles become commonplace and Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so there's that.
hence why they don't release a bajillion different series in a year. So,
Correct.
but yeah, I mean, this Little Witch Academia was fun. I said it at the top. It was fun. Certainly faults. Lots of faults,
Yeah.
mainly in the second half. But it was, I mean, it clearly was a way for Trigger to just go like, "Hey, what can we do in a setting that's unique and fun and like whimsical, but also we can flex our animation quality at times." The first half felt more like, "Hey, we are actually going to build out a world and characters and actually kind of start to establish a plot." And you're like, "Oh, cool. This is kind of new cuz previous triggers are just kind of like go 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 fast 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 chaos ensues constantly doing something right. You're like
Yeah.
this is a nice change of pace, awesome." And then season 2 or part 2 rolls around and they're like, here's a new professor, there's technology now in this witch world, there's also a magical rod that you're starting to unlock the grand Triskelion, which will grant you world altering magic and can change the whole fabric of time and space. And you're like,
And you've already unlocked 2
oh,
words, go find the other
and you're
5.
like, whoa! And that's when you like get strapped in to like the Clockwork Orange chair, eyes peeled open, and you're just zooming through at like the speed of light, just
At the speed of
licking,
plaid, as Spaceballs
yeah,
would say.
licking green and like that's deciphering code far beyond our human monkey brain knowledge. Like it flew so fast. Like I watched the first episode that I will qualify as being like the beginning of part 2. We get introduced, like I said, we get introduced to the
Episode 14, by the
yeah,
way.
episode 14. We get introduced to the new professor who is very clearly a Pokemon gym leader. Like the moment
In
that she
disguise.
flies down on her flying Roomba, okay? Because that's what it is. It's a flying Roomba.
Yeah.
Uh her name is Croy, which I'm like, that you are for sure. Which sub villain group do you lead in Pokemon? Are you the Skull Bandits, or what new age group do you lead now? Definitely not Team
She's
Rocket.
she's I was gonna say she's the new leader of Team Rocket.
Yeah,
She's fucking what's his face? Giovanni's son or daughter.
daughter. Yeah,
Sorry.
but
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. And then they're like, by the way, technology, and you're like, this is weird, not traditional for a school that prides itself on tradition, but all right. And then they're like,
Yeah, first
also,
13 episodes, we base everything on tradition. Tradition, tradition, tradition. Ah, tradition. We don't have a lot of energy though. Here's a technological,
here's a
fucking advancement to
magical
fix your problem.
here's a
You're
magical
hired.
generator that can store magical power and it floats. And they're like, deal. And she's like, all right, cool, that
When
was
can you
easy.
start?
Yeah. And you're like, boy, oh boy, I wonder who the villain is in this half of the season. And
God.
then
Yeah.
you get to what you were saying, you get to like, oh, by the way, this magical rod that our main character Akko just stumbled upon in like the first or second episode of the season, or of the show,
First episode of the
first
show,
episode of
yeah.
the show, it happens to be the witch that she like followed and praised as a child, Shiny Chariot. It was hers. And Shiny Chariot had been missing for 10 years. And what would this rod be doing here? And she somehow started to unlock its power by saying these magical words. But you can't just say the magical words, it has to come from your heart and be filled with emotion. But a professor that's been tutoring her has been telling her the words, and now she has to go off and search for the remaining words. And that's the entire plot to season 2. And also, there's a soccer game that happens and a flying missile and rockets.
So the soccer game happens in like the human portion, not the witch portion. And yes, the
But it's
flying
all
rocket was just fucking
they
bizarre.
they can go in there's crossover.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But like as we said, fucking part 2 just puts you on a rocket and just doesn't stop. Like you
It's
could see where the plot was going until the literal missile at the very last
well,
episode.
like I said, like
But
it was very clear for season 1 where they're like, "Boy oh boy, I can't wait for us to be able to really finish this up in 24 more episodes." And they were like, "You got 13 or 12 or whatever." And they're like,
yeah.
"Oh,
Oh
farts.
boy.
All right, well, strap in. It's gonna we're going. We're this car is, you are strapped into the fastest car. There's no brake pedal and there's a lot of turns. Good luck." And you can only
Yeah.
go you can't go lower than 300 miles an hour. It's like the movie Bus, or Speed, I mean.
Be-
It takes place on a bus. It could be called Bus. It's a stupider name than Speed's also a dumb name.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I will say, with all like the plot happenings, it was pretty telegraphed, other than the fucking missile at the very end, because
Pretty.
again,
Oh yeah,
it's
well.
It's pretty telegraphed as to everything that was gonna happen happens. Like, you're like, "Oh, this is the bad guy. This is definitely what the bad guy is up to. These are your friends. These are what they're gonna do. This is how they're gonna react to things." The only thing I really kind of was surprised about was the actual bit about Shiny Chariot and the shows that she performs and the background behind
Yeah,
that. That one I actually was surprised about
that
and thought was a really good reveal.
so
So, yeah, if you wanna explain it, go for it by all
no, no,
means,
no.
but
I had a thought because I was like, I agree with you that that reveal was the one moment in season 2 where I was like, I actually didn't see that coming. That's a really cool development. But then they like it got overshadowed by something else that happened at the same time. So to to, to put it full picture, because if you're listening at this point, hopefully you've seen it. Otherwise, we're just giving you the whole show.
r
So
we've already told you to stop and go watch it, but
yeah,
yes.
so Akko is tutored by a professor who we meet in episode 1 and helps her actually when they get trapped in the forest of Arcturus, where she finds the shiny rod.
She,
Um,
like, mind melds and just tells Akko what words to say to bring them
she
back out of
basically
the
yeah,
forest.
she whispers in her brain noggin and is like, say these words. But you're like,
Sorry,
from
not
the very
mind meld, but
beginning,
yes.
from the very beginning, you're like, that professor, there's something off about her. Is she she's shiny chariot? It's like
Yeah.
very early on, you're like, oh, she's shiny chariot. That makes
At what
sense.
point will she
Okay.
reveal it?
Yeah. You're like, "Ah, okay, we see it." So like that's not a mystery. Everything else you kind of see, pretty it's pretty open. It's not trying to like throw you for a loop or give you the old like switcheroo. You're like, "Okay." But yes, to your point, the one part where we see in season 2 when it finally gets revealed, right? Like Professor Ursula, the one that's been tutoring Akko, the girl who basically for her entire life ever since she was 6 has only been driven by the idea of meeting shiny chariot and becoming shiny, like becoming just like shiny chariot, right?
Yep.
Doesn't know that she's been tutored by her this whole time, and you're like, wow, oh my, what a spoiler.
Who could have seen that?
Yeah, but she's talking with Croy, who they went to school together, and then you get to learn more about their backstory and like, oh, originally they were the ones that discovered the shiny rod, and it was chariot that like
Was
actually
chosen rather than
yeah,
Croy.
was chosen by the 7 stars to like behold, like to hold it, and then Croy's like, why not me? I want to I want to
It should
basically
have been me.
yeah, did basically the Yugi, the Yami Yugi, it should have been me, not her,
Yeah.
me. um but yeah, so she gets it, and then like we get to learn more about how like, oh, she only locked 7. Like, wonder what happened, right? Come to find out, what happened was she didn't realize that Croy gave her magic that was like a what, like dream magic sucking fuck. I don't know. It was some dream magic shit that she created, and she's like, try this at your show. Spoiler alert, she was basically draining the magical energy of everyone in attendance from their ability to like use magic ever.
Croy further reveals that Chariot drained dream fuel spirit,
Drain dream yes.
dreaming power converted into magical power.
Yeah. So she's like, "Oh my gosh, I learned this." So then she stopped doing it at her show for because yeah, that she has a heart
Basically,
unlike
just
Croy.
draining people of their magical
And
powers.
you're so that was the part where I was like, "Oh, whoa, like that's cool." Like, and that explains why Akko doesn't have magical power. Like,
It
even though she
also
doesn't come.
explains why this other character who is from a prominent witch faction or witch house had to work like her fucking ass off in order to regain her witch power
You
as a child.
you say ass off. They showed the back flat, like the flashback of it, and she's like
I
a little
know.
kid trying to do magic again, and she can't. She's like, "What's wrong?" Literally, it looks like she's still the same age, and she is able to use magic again. And you're like, "Huh." I would have thought like maybe it was like a year ago or so that she finally regained her power, which is, and then came to Luna Nova afterwards. But you're like, it's supposed to be like, oh, that's why she's so intelligent and like top of her class, because she literally just had to study day in and day out to get her magic back. Like, whoa. Um, but no, that was wonderful reveal,
Yeah.
overshadowed by a part where Chariot after deciding not to do that magic anymore, goes back to doing a regular show, gets pressured by people being like, "You suck," and shoots the fucking moon. That's right. She turns the shiny rod into her big bow and arrow, massive bow and arrow, because there's too much
Let's see how
emotion
the
that's
people
empowered
like
in,
this.
and blast the fucking moon, which is a spoiler if you're watching this on YouTube, is literally on the title card of Little Witch Academia. You could see this weird little like star shape in the moon, and that's what she creates. Whoa, shocker. So I'm just like, why? Why? Like, and then she's like, that's why she left. And I was like, that's why she left? Why couldn't you just leave it at she was distraught at the fact that she realized she was stealing the magical energy from all of her patrons, and that's why she had to go into hiding? Why did it have to be she shot the fucking moon? Like, why? It's like, whatever.
Because it's Trigger. Everything has to
It's
deal like it goes to space no
what is this?
matter
Not
what
this
series.
isn't Sonic. This isn't
Whatever
Sonic.
series
She's
it
not
is, it
Dr.
has
Eggman.
to
It doesn't
go
have to
with space. It has to
no.
deal with space and the moon and everything else. It
So
has to. It's
stupid.
Trigger. It's typical Trigger. It
Oh my
happens in
god.
all the series without
They
fail.
love they love that animation where like something gets like shot off, there's a brief silence, and then like there's no like gradual impact, it's like instantaneous impact, like boom, and it's like there, it like
Yeah.
just appears. They love doing that in their series. So whatever. But I was like,
Yeah.
God, they had to just ruin that part. I was like,
Yeah,
why?
like great reveal with a just what the fuck moment, and then on to the ending. And
Yeah.
the ending is basically like the power of friendship will prevail.
It's basically like
And
it's like your friend
the
telling you about an amazing date, and then they go, and then I shit my pants. You're like, well, why? What happened? Why'd you do that? Like everything was going so well. Why'd you shit your pants?
yeah, the very end, like these 7 to 9 girls decide to build like they're like, oh,
There's
they're a
7 to 9
rocket
year
launch.
olds. They got to be like in high school. God damn it!
No, 7 to 9 of them.
Oh,
7 to 9 physical human
So
girls,
I
not
thought the whole
9-year-olds.
time you were watching this series, you thought they were like 9-year-olds.
I
Just
said that they
elementary
were in
school.
high
No,
school.
I know, but I heard 7 to 9 year olds. No, they called themselves the New Age 9 Witches or whatever, because like
Yes.
they
Yeah,
reference like the old 9 witches. Yeah, but
that's right,
yes,
the original 9. Yeah, so
yes.
these 9 girls, they see that this rocket has flown
Well,
off into,
let's
like, neighboring country, and they're
so
like, "We're the only ones that can stop it. We're children. We can do this. This is totally normal in anime."
s-
Uh,
hang on, time out. We got to get to that point first. We got to get
we gotta talk about the soccer match and how everybody's
yes.
flipping their fucking shit about a soccer
So they
match,
introduce early on a soccer match that's taking place between these two countries, right? And you're like, okay,
who
thinking
have
it's
gone to war in the past, and now
yes.
there's just, like,
There
political and
there's
they're
a
in peace times, but it's political unrest.
yeah, exactly. There's constant unease between them. There's tension
Right.
pretty regularly. But so you're like, okay, throwaway, whatever. Who cares about a soccer match? Nope, important throughout the entirety of the second half. So Croy, again, shocker that they're the villain with all this technology and stuff. Long story short, is making a mock replica of Akko's shiny rod, because the shiny rod, once you unlock all 7 words, unlocks what's called the Grand Triskelion, which was sealed away by the 9 old witches. And the Grand Triskelion has the capability of creating world-altering magic. And because Croy, still bitter 12 plus years ago of not getting the shiny rod, creates her own using technology. But lo and behold, she fuels it based off of the emotional energy of people around her. And when the emotions go awry, things go bad. And so, at one point, almost killing Professor Ursula / Shiny Chariot, it ends up imbuing itself into a rocket that was located in the submarine of the current country that they're in, and which it launches itself out and goes towards the neighboring feuding country. All the while, you're like, wait, you said soccer game. What's the soccer game have to do anything with it? Well, there was a controversy at the soccer game about whether or not the final goal was a good goal or not. And so the country that they're in is like, it was a no goal, it's clear. And the other country is like, it's a good goal, stop being babies. And so then Professor Croy feeds off all the negative energy of the people that are rioting, being like, it's no goal for this soccer match. That, yes, the soccer match that was the throwaway in the episode 14 is really important. And they're like, they bring out tanks and people get more and more agitated and more negative energy is filling these robots. And then it goes into the missile and the missile goes and it goes towards the neighboring country. And then the witches are like, what do we got to do? What do they do, Frank, to catch this flying missile that was shot out of a submarine going a bajillion miles an hour at the neighboring country? What could they
Let's
possibly do?
let's build a broom that is also effectively a multi-stage missile.
Rocket ships. Yay!
Rocket ships on top of rocket ships on top of missiles. Yeah,
Oh,
they build a like 3-tier, 4-tier missile broom to catch up to this missile that has been fired and stop it. The missile that was taken over by the negative emotion machine and now been fired at a neighboring country and starts dodging slash attacking the girls midair,
it starts
all while
forming
this
into
is
yeah.
simultaneously being filmed somehow. Um,
Which they literally go, who's filming this?
yeah.
No joke. An actual line said by none other than Croy, who you're like, you're the last person to be asking this. You created the technology that made this giant shark robot missile thing that's like reforming into different things in the air. And your question is, who's filming this? Oh,
Yeah, it's, that was a choice, but,
I
yeah, they
loved it.
they with the power of friendship, they stopped the
But
missile
if you're
and
back here, who's flying
"Who's over
the
there?"
airplane? Oh.
Yeah, they stopped the missile, everybody lives happily ever after, the countries
The
are like, "Let's talk real peace talks and let's not do this again."
the ending is like
Um,
one of those it it's one of those like satirical videos where like they everything gets wrapped up super quickly, right? In just like a
yeah.
really moronic way and they're like, "Look, there's a rainbow in the sky. And is that Bigfoot and Yeti hugging? And whoa, are the presidents kissing each other? Dude, Satan just decided to go back to hell. Wow. And there's no more vegans in the world. Hooray, the end." And it was like everything happened at once, and you're like, huh, what just happened? Because like
Yeah.
the last two people to fight the missile are Akko. This is what happens in like
And was
the
it
last minute.
Diana?
Yes, the last minute of this fight, which yes, it is a fight. They're fighting, flying on a broom against a sentient esque missile. Okay, this is what happens in the last minute, and this is not a joke. A broom that Akko unlocked in like the sixth episode
I
of the
forgot
series
all about
shows
that.
up out of nowhere after not being relevant for like ever. Shows up out of nowhere to save her because the missile knocked her off her rocket ship broom. Okay, she gets saved by that, and then she powers up with Diana. And when they do this, they form all of the happy energy that is being like combined by the people who believe in them to defeat the missile, and they create the tree of Yggdrasil, and it forms over the earth. And then when that happens, they combine their dual powers to create the shiny bow, and they fire it off and they destroy the missile, and the missile explodes into, and I'm not kidding, a giant smiley face that then evaporates over the entirety of the world. And then the prime minister of the country is like, "Well, all's forgiven. Good day, my lads," and walks away. That's no joke what happens in the last minute of the fight. And there's more that happened before the fight. Like that sequence. That all is just scrunched into a minute. They're like, "Whoa, look at that. There's the broom that she saw that she like got for the race back at the school. And is that the tree of Yggdrasil that we haven't seen in eons and eons?" And also they defeated it with the shiny rod, and all of Earth's magic is back in a big smiley happy face explosion, and our countries are at peace. The end. And I was like, I could hear my brain go as it like deflated, trying to keep up. I was like, oh my God. I
Yeah, so first and foremost, the, broom's name is Shooting Star.
don't care. I don't care.
Do you
What do you
wanna
mean?
know
What do
do
you
you
mean the
know do
broom's
you
name? The whole time you've been looking up this goddamn broom's name? Are you
well,
shitting me?
no, not the whole time, but do you
Oh,
wanna know
okay.
when it was introduced into the series and then when the next time it was really just shown?
Yeah, wasn't it like episode 5 or 6?
It was episode 3, and then it
Oh,
doesn't come back until the final episode 25.
yeah, that's
So
what I
22
mean.
episodes, it's just like,
Yeah,
"Bye."
that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, it's goofy, but it's like, "Okay, this is a nice little callback,
but
but
it was
sure,
like
whatever."
for all of the like it. I think what made it still fun, and this is my last thought to wrap it up, because there really isn't much more to talk about this, at least from my perspective. I will give the floor to you afterwards, but my last thought on it is like it it was at least still enjoyable because apart from the one like big reveal that we talked about with like the true nature of Shiny Chariot shows, everything else was so in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Like that you just were kind of waiting for the moment when they finally revealed it and you're like, "Oh, whoa, surprise face," right? So the fact that they rushed through the latter half of the show to fit in the story and to really wrap everything up in a chaotic sort of manner, you were like, it had to end at some point. It like whatever. I knew most of this. The rocket ship fighting the missile was far out of my expectations, but you know what? Who cares? You did it.
Everything else with it was within normal
We didn't even
parameters.
mention the fact that the Grand Triskelion, this thing that she had been like like
It's
going
just a stick.
after, it's a stick. It's a stick. Like it's like a big joke at the end.
What's brown and sticky? A stick.
Yeah. And like, but like combines with the shiny rod, which is why Professor Croy can't use it. Whatever. But like, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, haha, that's funny. Like everything else was just like laid out. So at least like I didn't feel like they pulled any shenanigans with like really random off the wall reveals or like, oh, you thought this, it's a switcheroo, it's actually this, right? Like they didn't, at least it wasn't like Shiny Chariot, you were Professor Ursula, you're actually Shiny Chariot, and then she went like, I'm also your mom, and it's like, whoa, like they didn't do that. At least you're like, oh, thank
I would
God.
have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Yeah, like I, it is funny to know that like Akko clearly has parents that doesn't care about her because they're never mentioned. She travels to a whole other country on her own. She never like phones back or like writes to them. Like she is by all means just
Yeah.
abandoned or an orphan. Like that's all we can assume about her. So I wouldn't put it past them to be like Shiny Chariot's actually her mom. You know, like
I
some
mean, I'm pretty
stupid
sure
shit.
she said that, like, her parents are, like, very free and just letting her
Yeah,
do
but
her own
it was
thing,
probably
but
like
it's just
episode
like,
one,
yeah,
and then
it is.
that's it.
Yeah, and that's the only explanation you really get. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're going on, like, break. Where do you wanna go?" "Oh, let's go back to my place." "No, fuck that.
No,
Nope, we're not going
No,
home."
thank you. So,
But
yeah, I
yeah.
that's why I still had fun.
Yeah, to me, to kind of put my final thoughts on it and give it a grade, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I mentioned it, during this recording or not. I did think that the first few episodes, Akko was absolutely unbearable as a character, just because she's kind of
I
bratty, whiny, and just like very combative about everything, despite the fact that she can't do anything magical. And it's like,
yeah.
girl, just please, just like get through the day without just a mishap, please, for the love of God.
Please
And
don't hurt yourself.
that too, or anybody else.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, something's gotta give here or else this is gonna be an unbearable 25 episodes, and eventually, like not eventually, like, her character does progress and does show growth gradually throughout the entirety of the series, which I really enjoyed.
Mhm.
I think that the all of the characters were well written, they all had wonderful personalities. I think the world that they lived in was believable and very well done. I just everything about the show other than just the absurdity of a few things, I thought it was really good. I mean, yeah, everything's kinda laid out for you pretty bare and plain, but, like, at the same time, this is a kids show. It's
Yeah.
intended for kids. So, like, I'm not too surprised by that. I'm not gonna dock it a huge amount of points for that. But yeah, I think if I were to give it, like, a number, I'd probably give it a solid 8 out of 10. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of things with it, and especially the character growth. There are just fundamental things that were just like, "What the fuck?"
Mm.
Oh, boy.
My grade's worse. Um, no, I mean, I lied. I'm gonna talk about one final thing because you did bring up the characters. The other upsetting part about I think the second half was that they were giving a lot of time and patience to the characters in season one, and it felt like they were really like letting everyone get an established like personality and like giving them the opportunity to show where they can grow. I
Yeah.
personally think Akko is miserable throughout the entirety of it, but that's because it's like it's that realization afterwards of like this is how she has to be. Like she has to be stubborn, she has to be hard-headed. Like nothing is going to come easy to her because she doesn't know magic, and the reason why she can't learn it well or fly a broom is because we find out later that was stolen from her by Shiny Chariot, right? So then that's like
Yeah.
the whoa, okay. So like her personality makes sense. I still find her like agitating. I still don't like how she interacts with a lot of the different characters because I find it to be just like overtly rude and a like just nails on a chalkboard at times, like how she just
Like, when she's
interacts.
like, when she's trying to help the engineer girl who just obviously doesn't want the help and then just, like,
But
finally, like, "Fine, help
it's
me."
it's more just like I don't know. Without going into like specifics, it's like just how she talks to them. Just like the words, purely it's just the words she uses, right?
Fair
There's
enough.
no there's no like semblance of like eloquence or even like sincerity towards the person she's talking about. It's clearly like I want something, I'm going to get something done and I'm going to go through you to get it. All right? So chop chop, let's go, let's do this. And it just lends
Yeah.
itself to like she's stubborn, but she's persistent, she's hard-headed, but at least she's got a goal in mind, like she's driven. She's just frustrating, but that's just her as a character, so you can't fault her for that. Season 2 though, it like because it's so motivated on like getting the story done, it kind of puts aside most of the characters and it's got more of a focus on like Croy and Ursula slash Shiny Chariot. And then obviously you filter in Akko too, but all of your side characters that were given like a bit of shining moments at times, like got put to the side, like
Yeah,
especially
but
Lotte and
other
Susie.
that's true, but I will say other side characters did shine more because
Yeah,
they kind of gave them the other characters to shine. So
it
you had,
was
like, Amanda, the engineer girl, who I'm forgetting off the top of my head her name.
Constance, I think Constance.
Yes, Constance. You also had Diana and her whole
Yeah, but
backstory kind of,
Diana was like throughout the entirety of the series because she was like
no pun
early on,
intended,
like
she was a constance throughout the series, but you get more of her background and why
yeah.
she is the way she is, and then, like, kind of her
It
inevitability of helping the main core.
yeah, it was just like I felt like there was clearly again it's a tale of two halves with this series. It did not make it any less enjoyable or fun for me, but fun can only go so far. This is not a show that I would watch again, nor is it really a show that I would recommend to people as a first time viewer because I feel like, albeit it's got the trigger animation quality and style that's very unique and very very appealing to the eye. It is at the end of the day just kind of like a subpar story, right? Like if I'm gonna tell someone, hey, I want you to go watch something that like really there's no story to it. It's just a really fun, easy watch, pure slice of life, fantastic animation. I'll just go have them watch Akabe's Sailor Uniform, right? If I want them to actually watch a series that has a really gripping story and it's enchanting through and through. I know it's still obviously going on, but like I'll tell them to go watch Frieren, right? Little Witch Academia is just hard because like I if someone is like, I'm a first time anime watcher, what should I go watch? It's like, I don't want to introduce this because I feel like they're going to get an impression that anime just doesn't have a story until like the very end and it just shoves it down your throat aggressively. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's in a weird space where, again, it's very fun. I love the whimsical nature of it. Anything with like witches is always just a really cool time. Magic itself is always fun to experiment with. But as a whole, I actually gave it a 6.5 out of 10 because it
Dang.
it did it just it I want a series where I wouldn't mind watching it again, right? Or I wouldn't mind like sitting down and watching it with my wife or, suggesting it to a friend. This one's just hard, right? It's not like it doesn't fit into a boat of like I want something that's slow paced and cute or I want something that's got a really like just
Yeah.
gripping story to it. It's
It
it's
it
like
kind of runs the gambit. It's not necessarily one thing. It's a
yeah,
A jack of all trades, master of none, so to speak.
It's a jack of all trades implies that it's still like above good quality with it. I would say it does too much at a average level, right? When
I
you
mean,
get a
that's
Studio Trigger show, you're gonna get really good, very unique, like appealing animation quality, like chaotic, insane fight scenes. You get all of like the really expressive face details and things like that when people are talking and being like very animated with one another, right? That's just a stylistic thing with Studio Trigger. You know you're gonna get that, right? But then it's
yeah.
like, am I gonna get something with a really good story? I'm gonna get something that's like just pure chaos through and through, like a Kill a Kill, or am I gonna get something that's like kind of a mix of all, like it's a mixed bag of everything, right? And it's just kind of that mixed bag, but everything's just kind of like, okay, like it does it fine. It's like, I'll be nice. I'll say I'll up it to a 7, right? It's just it's good. It's average.
I'll take it.
It's not something I'd watch again. It's not something I really would suggest, but it was at least a
Yeah.
fun ride through and through.
Again, I probably wouldn't suggest it either for what you've said, but I would suggest it to somebody in the sense of like, if you've watched everything or like a lot from current seasons within the past, 5 years, and you don't know what else to watch, and you want something kind of whimsical adventure type deal, yeah, I might tell you to go watch it. But other than that, yeah, I'm in the same boat. I probably wouldn't rewatch it. I probably wouldn't, you know, suggest somebody go watch it, or give it as a recommendation. But I would say that overall I enjoyed it, but your miles may vary comparatively, because this just was something that spoke to me, because yeah, I do love tales about witches and wizards, despite the fact that this had no wizards in it.
The
I
wizards,
do enjoy
fireball.
the fireball.
No,
um but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It kind of spoke to me on that level, despite the fact that it's a kid show. It is what it is.
yeah,
But I would revisit the world in the sense that, yeah, I am currently revisiting the, because they have technically two video games out, one VR game and one just kind of just regular video game, which is what I'm playing. Um, and I'm playing through that. I just started it yesterday. It's more Little Witch Academia, which isn't a bad thing, and it's not like a wonderful thing. The game plays kind of like, if you've played Dragon's Crown, where it's kind of, you have multiple characters, you can only really control one, in the sense of when you go through a dungeon, and yeah, it's just that type of gameplay. But then you get to run around Luna Nova, do side quests, find shit for people, etc. Like it's more Little Witch Academia, somewhere in between
hmm
all the happenings of what's going on. So like I would definitely revisit the world if given the opportunity, but I'm not going to go back really to rewatch the show. So
no,
yeah,
yeah, I agree.
that's my thoughts. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, and I hope you guys thoroughly, or girls, guys, everybody in between, thoroughly enjoyed this episode. We greatly appreciate you watching this episode of Otaku Time Machine. We'll be back next month, hopefully, with a brand new episode. So until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.